No sunshine, Angie.
Thank you, Ron. Well, there's just so much to know and understand about Medicaid, the program, and how it impacts us. Thankfully, we have the expertise of our attorney, Gary Price, who's the author of this book that is free to people. Give him a call. Well, let's talk about planning.
Sure.
Because typically, I think most Americans are just not really good about planning for things like Medicaid and like your funeral and other things that go into really making those plans and making them easy on others. So when do we need to plan for Medicaid?
Well, you know, I always talk about the number one question that I hear about Medicaid itself, as far as getting prepared or as far as getting qualified. But the number one question I get is, should I plan for Medicaid at this point? People are always wanting to know, when should I start planning?
And the answer is?
Well, and the real general answer is, it's never too late and it's never too early.
Okay.
So we've talked about in the past, we talk about the people, and there are people that still go into the nursing home and they continue paying the monthly bill, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month till they don't have any money left, and then they get on Medicaid. That's called spending down into poverty.
And we have talked about that.
And there are a lot of people still that unfortunately do that. They don't know any better. They've not been told anything otherwise. We talk about sheltering certain assets, and that's what planning is about. Sheltering assets so that, and the book talks about some of the reasons why you would shelter assets. One would be if you have a spouse at home, to keep the funds there so it doesn't affect, one spouse is going into the nursing home, one spouse is at home. So it doesn't affect that community spouse's level, or what she's used to or he's used to, the life that they're used to. Another reason might be to protect to shelter the assets for the benefit of the person going into the nursing home. Medicaid, Medicare doesn't cover everything. So sometimes if you have some money preserved, sheltered, set aside, something that there might be a medical treatment that might be new.
Anything can happen, really.
So planning for that is a good reason. Well, the only time I can think of that it might be too late is when you're in the nursing home and you have spent down to where there's no further assets. Short of that, it's never too late. As far as when it's too early, it's never too early. Medicaid planning is all about getting information, getting assistance to someone that may be an applicant for Medicaid someday, and doing that before the Medicaid application begins. And that might mean, on one end of the spectrum, Medicaid planning might mean preparing documents for in the event of Medicaid, or locating documents in the event of a Medicaid application. On the other end of the spectrum, planning might mean restructuring your resources as you own them, as you currently own them. So restructure ownership. But in all cases of planning, it means learning your options, get the knowledge of what the application is all about, and learn what your options, based upon your specific situation, learn what your options are. That's involved in all planning.
And that's why we call you, though. I mean, just listening to you every time you come, I always have more questions than I want to have time to ask you. But that planning piece, the earlier you do it, I think the more options you're buying yourself. If
That's
you're looking
correct.
way ahead, so if you're in your 40s or 50s, good time.
40s or 50s is a very good time. You may not have to, the good news is in 40s or 50s, you may not have to exercise any of the options,
Sure.
but you'll know them.
You'll know them, and knowledge is power. Gary, what's your phone number?
Yeah, if you want a copy of the book, I'll be happy to send one to you, 812-479-8721. Just give me a call.
Thank you. You always learn so much. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
This portion of Lifestyles is sponsored by Gary Price, elder law attorney.